So I think we've got a few learners, and I believe the others will be joining soon. We are here for our fourth meet, this particular course, and we are basically conducting the problem solving sessions in this particular course. So let's just wait for a minute because 3 o'clock is yet to happen, and we'll start our session. Okay. All right. So a very good afternoon to all the learners who are here and who have enrolled for this particular course called Understanding Incubation and Entrepreneurship. And today we are meeting for the fourth time in our 12-week journey, which basically means that we have covered uh, till week three content, and week four is already live, as well as week five content is already live, right? So, usually we begin with certain aspects, which we try to keep it consistent. And so we'll begin with that. Meanwhile, the other learners can also join in. My name is Abhishek, and I am the TA for this particular course and conducting the live sessions, which are primarily aimed at problem solving. And the course is Understanding Incubation and Entrepreneurship. I have taken up this course in the last 3 to 4 times in the last 2 3 years, and in these presentations, I do share my experience of that, as well as how we have transformed, and shaped up so many different students who were passionate about entrepreneurship, incubation. And I would like to tell you that, I mean, it's not just the students. We have seen learners being from very diverse backgrounds, including faculty members, academicians, industry professionals, as well as those who have already retired from their job and then they are trying to understand this particular aspect, right? So we have seen learners across ages and across professions benefiting from this particular course. Now, this course is primarily aimed around making the learner aware about what are the different steps. Basically, if you want to plan a successful startup, what are the different facilities which are available at different institutions? What all things you can actually get support from can also be found out in these lectures and these week-wise content. And at the end, what you also get to see is that the students from IIT Hyderabad, who are basically the MD students, they build something from the scratch. They form a team. They have a common interest area. They develop a pitch, and then they went on in developing a business model around it. Right. So that case study in itself is a great example in terms of how do you uh, understand these learnings from these lectures, and how do you step by step proceed in forming a team and then forming a successful startup, right? So that's what the aim for this course is, that many and many learners of this course who are passionate about certain idea, who are passionate about building something, get to know from all these week-wise content, and they go forward, they conduct their own startup, they form their own startup with very interesting and diverse team, and then they be successful in their respective endeavors, right? So a little bit about me is that I am an architect. So I did my bachelor's of architecture from School of Planning and Architecture, Delhi. And after that, I immediately joined my master's program, which was Master of Design in the Department of Industrial Design at SP itself. And after that, I worked in a few institutions, rather organizations. So I was working as an interface designer at Infosys in Bangalore, then took up a job in Think Design in Delhi, and then I started my own company. So even I had a around 2.5 to 3 years of experience in my own startup, and then eventually I slowly transitioned into the teaching aspect. And after around working for 8.5 years, I started my doctoral journey at the Department of Design, IIT Roorkee. And currently, I'm a PhD student, and I've covered around 3.5 years of my study. And since I'm a recipient of the Prime Minister's Research Fellowship, so it tasks us to take up a teaching assignment. And luckily, the NPTEL provides us this particular platform wherein we can meet and fulfill this particular requirement of teaching. Right. So NPTEL gives a lot of flexibility. It's very much learner centric, which you have already seen by so many policies. And I think that concludes my brief introduction. Now, in all my sessions, I always invite if anybody wants to introduce themselves, just your name, what you're doing, how are you finding the course. So the meeting is open to you for now. If you want to speak anything, just introduction, that also is good. I just read out the names. If anyone is interested to please introduce themselves, I think it will be good. It's always good to know each other. So you can also raise your hand so that I can just call out your name. Or we've got Soumya Mohanty. If you want to introduce yourself, uh, we've got Mispa, Shamini, Aditya, Nancy, Pranjali. Anyone who would want to talk a little bit about yourself, your college, you know? All right. I mean, that's not something that is very, very critical here. Even if you are there in the session and you participate in the session, that is also good enough, right? So, what we'll do is we'll start with the presentation, as we have been following a particular format. So, each and every session, we start with the set of protocol slides. These protocol slides are something which are repeated in each and every session, because from our past experiences, we have realized that a new learner can join in any of these 12 sessions. And I would like to tell that, in my last uh, taking up of this TSU for this course, there were two learners who joined in the 11th and 12th week, right? So it's always good to see people joining in the course, even better late than never kind of scenarios. So what we do is we always have a certain amount of information which we repeat at each and every session, because we do understand that whether you are a student, whether you are a professional or an educator, you might be having a lot of requirements, responsibilities, workload, academic fulfillments, assignments, quizzes, and that is why NPTEL gives you that flexibility to go through the content at your own pace, at your own time. You get around 1 week to actually go through the content and attempt the set of 10 questions which are in the live assignment, right? So that is why these sessions are also there to help you. These are complementary sessions, just to enhance your learning, to prepare yourself for the final examination. I also do understand that there are a lot of students who have taken up this particular course, and they might be doing it from a credit requirement perspective in their college. So I think these protocol slides are very, very essential and crucial for you. Please go through them and keep doing your assignments, because all these week-wise assignments are very, very crucial. You may not know whether a question can come directly. The same question might come there. Okay, so it's always important to attend to that. And even in these sessions, we have a set of extra questions. So that will help you plan your study. I mean, it can help you assess yourself whether you are going through the content well or not. how the questions are being framed, what typology of questions can be asked, and things like that, right? So with that brief uh, primer and brief introduction, let us begin our today's session. And happy Krishna Janmashtami to all the learners who are here. Uh, there might be celebrations at your natives, but still you have joined in, so it's a great support and appreciation for all of you who have joined in. So I'll share my screen, and if anyone can please text or message that whether the screen is visible or not, it will be very helpful for me in order to proceed the session, right? So any one of you can let me know if my voice and my presentations are visible. Then we shall proceed with the uh, course. You can speak up or you can add a text message in the chat. That will also be helpful. Visible. Great, great. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So, once again, a warm welcome to all the learners. Today we are here for our fourth meeting in our 12-week journey. We have covered 3 weeks content and now we are meeting for the fourth week of content. My name is Abhishek and the course is Understanding Incubation and Entrepreneurship. And the instructor and the curator of the course is Professor V.K. Chakravarti sir. And right, I think I've already told you about myself. So let's proceed further. All right. So we do annotate on these presentations because it always helps, rather than seeing a static screen, something which doodles with annotations always is always good. So these live sessions are there to help you in the current run of course, and we shall discuss and solve week specific assignments. Just to elaborate that, every week you are seeing a new content. So from week 1 to week 5, the course contents are visible to you, I believe. uh, so for every week, we prepare a set of 10 questions. It's a new set of 10 questions which are different from the live assignment, right? So currently we'll be discussing the week 4 content and the related questions. All right. So what we have done is we have prepared a new set of 10 questions which are different from your assignment, which is already available in your NPTEL portal. And these questions I would want you guys to participate. You can tell your opinion, your what could be the correct answers by sending in messages in the Google Meet chat box, and then we'll take it from there and we'll try to discuss why this answer is correct. We'll try to validate it by the course content, and we'll also discuss why this particular answer is the correct one, right? We also respond to the queries and questions. So if there are any queries, if there are any doubts which are there, which are being raised, you can please ask. You can unmute and speak, or you can just write it in the chat box and we'll try to take it over. We also do a content recap of the ongoing week. It might be a possibility that you have seen the content 1 week later or 1 week prior, and even 2 3 days matter a lot. So just in order to give you a brief preview, uh, we have this content recap, which is a visual summary. And in this visual summary, we basically have the content snapshots. All right, let's go further. Okay. So during the live session, we request everyone to keep your mic on mute in order to avoid any unnecessary noise and disturbances. This is also critical because all these sessions are being recorded as per the mandate by the NPTEL team. And once these are recorded, these are uploaded on YouTube. Okay, so that is one of the reasons we try to maintain that decorum. You can always unmute if you have any questions or if you want to discuss something or if you are responding to a question. But responding to a question can also happen using the Gmeet and call messages. Okay, through that we can also communicate so that we can avoid this kind of a scenario of noise disturbances. For questions, there is a very interesting functionality in a platform of NPTEL, which is the discussion forum. Uh, it allows you to ask a question which is dictated by a timestamp. So you can use this functionality of discussion forum to ask any question. And there is a team member who responds to all these questions which are raised in the discussion forum. Now, why it is critical is that there are primarily three stakeholders in this. One belongs to the NPTEL team, the other is the TA, and the most important one is the enrolled learners. Okay. So what happens is if a learner asks a question and the question gets posted, we all three get notified about it. And if there is a response, again, there is a notification that the question has been replied with the answer, right? What you see at the bottom is an image wherein you can log in. You can see a registered mail ID as well as a few important call to action buttons and header buttons. What you see on the left side is the link to register yourself for the examination. If you have not done yet, please do it. The examination registration deadline is extended a bit, and I'll tell you about it as well. What you also see is the progress. So if you want to check your progress, you can also click here and see how you're performing the current set of questions. Okay. Now, all these sessions that I mentioned are being recorded. These are being uploaded to my YouTube channel, which is the link is present here. And all the presentations are also being annotated. These are in PPT format, but then they're converted into a PDF and then they are uploaded in the Google Drive link. So both these links are visible here under the problem solving session. If you click here, it will lead you to a spreadsheet, something similar to an Excel, matrix based. And for each specific week, you will get a link for YouTube for the video. And then there is a common drive folder, common Google folder, which contains and entails basically all the PDFs from 1, 2, 3, and today you'll see the fourth one as well, right? I'll just check if the session is being recorded. Just give me a minute. Yeah. All right. Let's proceed further. Okay. So course name, I think everybody understands it. Understanding incubation and entrepreneurship. The course instructor is Professor V.K. Chakravarti sir, and who has been the brain behind developing this course. He belonged to the IDC School of Design at IIT Bombay, and he also had taken up responsibilities as DIC, which is the Design Innovation Center. Interestingly, design innovation centers are opened at many different institutes, including IITs and SPAs. So he was leading the activities under DIC at IIT Bombay, and he is currently setting up the School of Design at the Mahindra University. University in Hyderabad as of now. All right. So that is about his current affiliation. All right. So it's broadly a 12-week course, and we are currently at week 4. So we have got 8 further engagements which are left, along with 1 extra session. That extra session is primarily aimed at examination, although we do have a set of 10 questions, but we also provide some bit of information around examination related, hall ticket related, and things like that. Okay. So that extra session is also critical. The date and time and the scheduling is conveyed to the learners during that time. When we have completed our 12 weeks, then you'll be informed about it. Okay. Now, week 3 deadline is 20th of August. I think that should be week 4 probably. Yeah. Ideally, this should be week 4. Week 3 deadline is over, because I think you won't be able to see the scores of week 1, week 2, week 3. Week 4 deadline should be 20th of August. The examination date is 26th of October as of now. But the clear cut instructions about that will be given when you have your hall ticket, right? And it will happen in one of the 2 slots of pre-lunch or post-lunch. at a physical venue. Okay. What do you mean by physical venue? Just like your board examinations or university examinations, you'll have to go to a exam center along with your hall ticket and ID card, and then you have to sit for the examination, um, perform and respond to the questions submitted, and then the examination is going to be over. All right. Um, I've updated few slides here, even if you have seen the content in the previous sessions. So in the progress tab, there are three heads now: assessment, unit-wise progress, and grading and certification. Probably this slide, this for this we have a slide and we elaborate upon it. Unit-wise progress is basically about the content, how much content you are going through, how much content you are understanding, reading through. Assessment scores are basically your performances, right? Your performance in the weekly quizzes. Now, these quizzes are the ones which are there in the NPTEL platform and not what we are discussing in the live sessions. So, the questions in the live sessions are primarily to help you, widen your understanding about the subject. They are not meant you for any kind of evaluation. We do not consider any evaluation, right, around it. It's just that we discuss it and we ask you to respond to certain questions. It's more like broadening our understanding from the content and how well prepared we are when we have already seen the content. Okay. This is the unit-wise progress. What you see here in the blue is filled, which means that this much content you've gone through. What you see in grayed out basically means the remaining content. So here it would mean 50% content is remaining, and if the entire bar is gray, which means that you have not gone through any content, right? Okay. So the course is free to enroll and learn from, but if you want a certificate, you have to register. These were the existing deadlines, which was like before 11th of August. This much was exam fee. There was some fee waiver and concession to those belonging to the two categories of SC, ST, and PWD. And then last date for exam registration was August 15, but that has been extended. So I believe most of you would have received an email. Can you just type in the chat box whether you have received this email of deadline extension? In case you have received, you can just type in the in call things so that I get to know whether you have received this email. So this email was received a couple of days back, which was about the exam registration has been extended till 18th of August. Okay. So those of you who have not still registered, you have got a extended window and you can still register, right? There has been a brief extension with a couple of days. Write it down here. Pension till 18th of August. Okay. So this is for the registration. Registration for exam. All right. So if you have not done it, please kindly note about this particular date and urgently do it if you are in need of the certification. Okay. So as we are discussing about certification, it's important to know what are the criteria to get the certificate. I would request you to take some time to understand this. Meanwhile, I'll just uh, tell you the calculation principles. Just take a minute to read it and I'll explain it to you. So what we mean by internals is all your weekly quizzes or weekly assignments. Okay. So up till now, I think till week 5, the quizzes must be available to you, right? So those are the internals. Externals are your venue-based examination where you'll have to go to a exam center and you have to participate, right? So these weekly quizzes are given a weightage of 25%. Venue-based examination get a percentage of 75% so that your overall scoring is 100%, right? Now, in here also there are certain important aspects. That is, your score should be greater than 10. Your score should be greater than 30 so that your overall score is greater than 40. Now let's take three scenarios and understand, what it basically means. So for example, you performed great here, you performed 20 out of 25. However, here you fell short, you got 25 out of 35. Your overall score is 45 out of 100, right? Second scenario is wherein you performed a little poor here, but you performed exceptionally well here. All right, you got, yeah. So here, if you see, you are meeting this criteria, but you are failing on this criteria. Okay, which means you will not get the certificate. Okay, now let's see the scenario. You are failing on this criteria because it is less than 10. However, you are meeting this criteria, your overall score is also fine, but still, since you are not meeting one of the criteria, you will not get the certificate. So, what we are trying to say is that both externals and internals are critical. These are both important in your overall certification because the kind of marks you get will be exactly translated into the kind of certificate you are getting. One thing for sure is that if you do not meet these two criteria, you won't get a certificate. But even if you meet these two criteria, and then your overall score comes around say 70 plus, 80 plus, 90 plus, and things like that, that also is correlated with different types of certificate. Okay, let's proceed further. So this is how we have been sorry, transitioned from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. If you see from week 1, we started with the basics of entrepreneurship, the mistakes, and then the journey of Mr. Dinoj, followed by week 2, wherein we saw the journey of Mustafa from the ID Batter case study, and the three members from the GTC program, Mr. Anurag, Amit, and Mary, they came in and they shared their insights around it. Week 3 was about understanding the methodology of innovation and Professor Chakku's 7 concerns of the 7 C's and about team building. And then week 4 was about the ideas program, which was launched by the class of 1990s of IRI Bombay, right? And then we have the solar oven case study of Mr. Avinash, who was a student of IDC, and then he became a full-time entrepreneur for this particular work on solar oven. And then we also get to see the ID Hyderabad student projects where they are trying to frame the problem area, right? Uh, all right. And then we have the additional learning materials, ALM, which is basically in the form of PDFs or YouTube links. So if you get time, if you are interested, you feel free to go through it. Okay. So these are the two typology of questions. So one is having single correct answer, while the other is having multiple correct answers. And essentially, you will see broadly these type of questions which are there in the weekly quizzes and tentatively in your final examination as well, right? But in here as well, although the way you select and choose options are one of the radio buttons or the square buttons, which mean you have multiple correct answers, But then the typology of framing questions might be a little different. For example, if you have been attending these sessions, you would have seen that we have got fill in the blanks kind of questions as well, utilizing the same typology of answering. Right? So, as I said, the first one is basically the one which is having single correct answer. So, only one correct answer will be chosen. These are called radio buttons. So, I can just select one of them. Uh, and if I select the other, the first one will be deleted. Okay. The second one is having multiple correct answers, which means that there could be multiple right answers. So I may want to select this, or even all four of them. Okay, that depends on the question, and that depends on whether the question is right or not. However, if you are having these questions and if you're trying to select most of them, it's important to know the underlying logic and the underlying principle of how these questions are being marked, right? So that also we'll try to discuss right now. So the marking of multiple choice questions are based on this particular underlying logic. I would request you to take a minute to just have a look at what these three principles are, and then we'll discuss that using an example. Okay, just take a minute, understand it. Okay, let's read it out and let's go through them one by one. Uh, okay, what first we can do is okay, so what we'll do is this is the question, and you have to tell me what are the correct answers. Which of the following are major Indian rivers? Nile, Ganges, Yamuna, Narmada. You have to tell the correct answers. What are the correct answers? You can just type in the chat box, and one by one we'll go through the principles around it. Okay. So the first scenario is if all options chosen by the student are correct and no incorrect answer has been chosen, then full marks. So the question is which of them are the major Indian rivers, and the correct answers are Ganges, Nile, and Ganges, Yamuna, and Narmada. Nile is a river in Africa. It is not in the Indian subcontinent, so that is the incorrect answer, right? Now, if you select B, C, D, and if you submit, you will get full marks. Okay. It's perfect scenario wherein you know the correct answers and you get full marks. Now let's take option two or scenario two, which says if at least one incorrect answer has been chosen, then no marks are awarded. Which means if I select A, B, and C, if I select B, D, and A, if I select A, C, D. Now all these have that one incorrect answer, which is A. So which means no marks. However, the third one is very interesting. If only correct answers are chosen but not all correct answers are chosen, then partial marks proportional to the number of correct answers. For example, I have a doubt in the option A or option B, whatever it is. If I select B, C and I submit, if I select C, D and I submit, if I select B, D and I submit, or I just am sure about Ganges or Yamuna or Narmada, whatever it is. In all these scenarios, I'll get some partial marking. Okay, for these questions, I might get this. For these questions, I might get 0.33. Okay, so if you are in a fix, if you are attempting your assignment, these questions, I think it's important for you to know this underlying principle so that you select and make choices which are much more informed. All right. All right. So these were the top GMeet learners in week three, wherein we had Mr. Ulhas Kumar, he was a professor, Om Shankar Jadhav, then Prajakta, Parshav, Manav, Shreyash, Vansh, and Bhavna. So well done, all of you. Many, many Congratulations for being there in this journey for the maximum duration of time. And I hope you had learned a lot in the previous week. And I hope to see you in today and upcoming sessions as well. All right. So let's begin with the content recap. As I said, content recap is primarily the visual summary. Okay. Visual summary. So even if you have gone through the content, it is always good. Just relax, see what all we'll be having as a snapshot journey. Obviously, we do not cover each and every slide. We only cover the certain few of them, certain ones, few of them. Okay. Okay. So this week four content started with the ideas program under the DSSC at IIT Bombay, which is the Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship. Okay. DSSC stands for Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship. There could be a question around this as well about abbreviating it. So it's always good to remember, right? For from earlier weeks, you could have questions around what is GDC. Correct. So it's important to know ideas program and all those things. So whatever abbreviations you are going through, just keep a note of it. Keep noting it somewhere in your book, so that at the end you just have to go through it. Okay. So DSSC stands for Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship. And then one the speakers of the session were Dr. Love Sareen, who joined the DSSC in 2018. Right now, he comes with a lot of experiences in helping the growth of startups. So he's kind of adding a lot of value to the idea Hyderabad projects. And then here we have Mr. Avinash. As I said, he's an alumni of IIT Bombay. And once his academic projects was over, he converted that into his project as a startup and started his entrepreneurial journey. And the product he chose to work upon was the solar oven. So this was the Ideas program. It was initiated by those from the 1990 batch. These were the people who came together to start this particular program in order to facilitate the startups who have value, who are trying to bring certain value, and they need some kind of direction. And then he talks about inventor syndrome, which is basically the inventors become and fall in love with their own idea. They feel this is the correct one. There's nothing going wrong about it, So that syndrome is something which we need to be watchful around, and we do need to keep asking the right questions. So here, Mr. Avinash is saying, rather than having leading questions about solar cooking, the questions went around: what do you cook? How do you cook? What do you use for cooking, and what's the daily routine, and what are the other cooking options, right? So if you see, there was no leading questions, and that is why this questioning is important. So he was working on the solar oven, solar cooker thing, but there is no such question on solar or solar cooker, right? So that is how we have to frame in order to derive the latent insights from our consumers. We have to follow that kind of questioning strategy where we are not having leading questions. Okay. Then comes the aspect of defining user and customer. Can you tell me, are these two terms same or are these two terms different? User and customer. Anybody in the call, can you please tell me what is the difference between a user and a customer? Is there any difference or is there no difference? Anyone? User and a customer. What could be the difference? If you don't want to speak, it's fine. You can just type in. You can articulate and type it in the in call message. All right. So basically, the customer is primarily the one who makes the purchase, who buys the stuff, and in some scenarios, the customer can be the user, but in some scenarios, the customer may not be the user. Okay, anybody could give me any example? Okay, okay, no issues. Now, say for example, if I am buying a spec, okay, if I'm buying glasses, goggles for myself, I made the purchase and I'm the user. Okay, so I'm fulfilling this particular scenario. Now, what if I am buying a toy? Okay, just imagine it's a rattle for my infant. Okay, so here, although I'm making the purchase, okay, but I'm not the user because I'm not the one who's using it. It will be the kid, है ना? जो छोटा बच्चा है, the kid will be using it. So the kid will be the user of this product. Okay. But I am the customer because I am the purchaser of this product. All right. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. In certain scenarios, customer can be your user, but in certain scenarios, the customer may not be the user. For example, when you are buying things which are not meant to be used by you, for example, if there are elderly in your home and then you have to buy an adult diaper, then you are not using it. You are basically using it for your elders. Similarly, if you're buying a toy or diapers, you are not basically using it. You are a customer. You have purchased it, but the user of that product is going to be your kid or that particular child. Okay, so that is how the broad differentiation between a user and customer can be, understood. And then these were the segments wherein the Solar One can actually be utilized, and how it is important to define the user and a customer. Once the user and a customer is defined, how do you reach out to your target audience? What are the ways? What are the channels by which you reach out to the customers is again a challenge, and that has to be figured out well, right? The role of social media, I think everybody knows. Each and every brands are now marketing their products on social media, whether it is Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn. I saw a lot of ads there. Okay, and then how if you have a startup already in place, you have a fascinating product. How is it that you're going to sustain yourself? How is it that you're going to make money? Because making money is also very critical. Okay, and then these were certain sentences which are very critical around it. What you see here is a user persona. So the idea of creating a persona is to have a broad understanding of your user type. That starts with profiling the user from background, finances, behaviors, to what is it that they're looking for, what influences her brand affinities. This helps us understand our user. This entire activity of creating a persona is basically to understand what type of user persona is there and how do we market our products, how do we reach out to our customers, what are the challenges, what are the pain points, and then how our offering, whether product or service, is catering to our end user. All right. And then here is Dr. and Professor Lavsareen, who is basically helping Mr. Avinash reframe or his pitch, what could be the other users. So he now focuses on young professionals and how they would prefer home food, which is rich in nutrition. All right. What you see here is the problem recognition scale. So he identified that there could be three to four types of latent problem, wherein the users have a problem but they don't know about it. They're not realizing about it. Now, especially in cases if your mother is working in kitchen, uh, just give me yeah. And it is not very well ergonomically designed. So they will not complain about it. They might start having back aches and ache around knees, and if the height of the platform is not proper, if the things which are kept in the kitchen are not at suitable heights, you know, you know, they might not face the challenges. They might not say it, but then in the long term, it might be a challenge. Okay, so this is where the user is facing problems, but they are not aware about. Okay. Passive problem is that they know the problem, but they aren't motivated or aware of the opportunity to change. Okay. Which means that the person, for example, in the same kitchen scenario, if we say that one of the users, they understand that, there is a problem, but they are still working around it, still adjusting to the whatever the situation is. Active problem. They recognize a problem or a passion and are searching for a solution, but they haven't done any serious work to resolve it. For example, now say in the same scenario, the person has identified the problem. Maybe they have made a jugaad. They have put a small platform here wherein they can just climb it up and make proper arrangements, but they have not come up with a very interesting solution. Okay. So vision, they have an idea to solve the problem and even have cobbled together a homegrown solution, but are prepared to pay for a better. Okay, yeah. So what I was referring to the this problem, this attachment is something which belongs to the visionary, where they have a homegrown solution, but they are ready to pay for a better one. So better one could be something which is a platform which might have wheels, which can move around, or the entire thing can have a certain height and low desk height with raised flooring so that it can be easily worked around. All right, so these are about the different problem recognition scale and the different types of users, why the problem needs to be done, identify the problem, and these are the two case studies. It's available in the PDF form. If you want, you can go through it. And then there are two YouTube links around customer discovery by Steve Blank, and the movement that led to the customer discovery. If you recall, it was about he was working at one of the companies, and then he made a certain point, and he got really humiliated by the company owner, and he had to go out. So it's basically his journey. It's a short video, and I think if you feel like going through it, you can obviously go through. Okay. Okay, so now we are starting the set of 10 questions. What we have done is we always take a quick break, 5 to 7 minutes break. And I also suggest you, because prolonged sitting is not good for health. All right, so frequent breaks are very, very required. I'll leave you with this particular question, and let's take a 5 to 6 minutes break, and then we will regroup and we'll continue with our set of 10 questions. Okay. So let's meet around 3:55 or something. Right, 3:55, let's meet, and we'll proceed with the set of 10 questions. I'll keep the question here. If you want to attempt it, you can attempt it. We'll keep recording continue. I'll just unmute myself and I hope our learners are back with a quick break. Okay, if not, please come back as soon as possible. We'll continue our set of 10 questions. Okay. All right. So what we have in front of you is our very first question. Let me put it in the full screen. Right. So the question is, what are the key objectives of setting up the City School of Entrepreneurship at IIT Bombay? Okay. This ICT is DSSE, which was established by the class of 1990 by IIT Bombay alumni. Remember? Okay. So the options are to give structure and support to early stage entrepreneurs, to provide funding for startups, provide mentorship with the experienced entrepreneurs from the alumni pool, and to build a strong alumni network and derive peer learning among the cohort members. Okay. So I would suggest that please take your time and write in the in-call messages what options do you feel could be the correct answers. Right? We are talking about the key objectives of setting up PSSE. Okay. What are the objectives of setting up PSSE at IIT Bombay? Is it to give the structure and support to the early stage start entrepreneurs? What do you mean by early stage entrepreneurs? Those entrepreneurs who are just beginning their journey. They might have just formed their team, they might have just got their initial ideas, initial concepts, they have just started with their startup journey where they have the product, they have some basic prototype, some feedback from the users. Okay. The second is to provide funding for startups. Okay. Funding as in we help around financial aspects. So it could be through uh, angel investors, bringing them on board, connecting with the different incubators, by incubators and all. I mean, those who can actually finance these startups. The third option is to provide mentorship with the experienced entrepreneurs. Okay. And so, like I said, it was established by the 1990 IIT Bombay class of 1990. So they have a very huge alumni pool who is already there in the industry and who is doing at some great places and come with a lot of experience, and to provide the mentorship with the experienced entrepreneurs from them, and to bring a strong alumni network. So what ID Bombay is also doing parallelly is to build the strong alumni network and derive peer learning among the cohort members. So peers, what do you mean by peer? For example, I'm studying in the class and my batchmates will be the peer. Okay. So if we are referring to the cohort members, all those teams, all those entrepreneurs who are a part of the journey, who are undergoing that program under DSSC, they will become peer. It's a term which is in relation to whatever group you are part of. All right. अगर आप पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं तो your batchmates will be the peer. अगर आप जॉब में हैं तो आपके प्रोफेशनल सर्कल में your peers will be different, right? So it is a term which is not specific to school or college. It is a term which basically denotes your companions in whatever organization you are in, whether it is an institution or a company, right? Once again, I would invite you to please share your options, whether it should be option A, B, C, or D. We are trying to understand the objectives of setting up this ICT School of Entrepreneurship. Let's take a minute. Let's see if anybody wants to share their personal thoughts around it. If you think any specific option is correct, just type in the call message feature of the Gmeet link and we'll take it from there. Let's wait for a minute and then I'll let you know the correct answer. Anyone? All right, let's see the screen validation. So these are the three objectives for which the DSSC, which is the Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship at IIT Bombay. The first is early stage support to the entrepreneurs. So, you are providing and offering them the early stage support because they have just begun and they are new into the journeys and they would need a lot of guidance and a lot of mentoring. So, this mentoring aspect becomes the second objective, wherein, this is a mentor and this is your mentee. So, mentee is trying to climb up the ladder, and the mentor who is already at good positions in different companies are basically guiding you, mentoring you. And then you also try and build a strong alumni network. You are connecting with the people who are pass outs, yet again at different positions in different domains of marketing, HR, finance, and then they are guiding you from their own domain expertise. Okay. So, since as you are must be aware that IIT Bombay has a range of courses, right from design to engineering, mechanical, environmental sciences, in fact MBA as well, right? So they have people in diverse domains. So your startup may be aligned to any one of those domains, but at the same time, you might also need help in recruiting people, in arranging your finances, right, and marketing your ideas, wherein all these people from diverse domain can actually help you and guide you. So that is why building a small, strong alumni network within the IIT Bombay uh, group is also very, very critical. So the correct answers for this question are to give structure and support to the early stage entrepreneurs, to provide mentorship to the experienced entrepreneurs, and to build a strong alumni. All right. So the correct answers are A, C, and D. Okay. Again, I would like to activate all the learners who are present here. Please come up. Share your understandings through the options which are correct. Be it right or wrong, I think we all are learning, right? So it is irrespective of being judged. I would suggest you to please participate by sharing your correct options. All right. Let's take the second question. What is the goal of DSSC for teams in level 1 3 months program? Okay. Uh, Let me just write it. This I say T. Okay. What is the goal of this ICT School of Entrepreneurship for teams in level 1? So basically, if you remember, they had two levels of program, level 1 and level 2. Level 1 was a 3 month program, I believe, and level 2 was around a 12 months program. And okay, so that is one of the key difference between the two programs of duration. But then what you need to tell is key, what was the objective of the level 1 program? Okay. The options given to you are to make the idea successful, for the team to take it forward, to make startups successful by offering initial funding, to make the team successful in implementing how to do customer discovery, and all of the above. Okay. So take your time, read the question. We are trying to understand the goal of the SSC and their level 1 program, which is a 3 months duration program. Okay. What is the goal of it? Is it about making their idea successful so that the team can take it forward? So they will brainstorm at whatever idea you have got, and then they will guide the team to proceed towards that, proceed with that idea and take it forward, or to make the startup successful by offering initial funding. So they would arrange some kind of initial sum which can be given to the early stage startups so that they become successful, or make the team successful in implementing how to do customer discovery, which means that they would help you in approaching the potential customers, in reaching out to the actual consumers, actual customers, so that you become a successful startup as a team. And then all of the above, all the choices which I've mentioned here are correct ones. All right. So, guys, let's begin your voting. Tell your opinions. What could be the right answer? As you can see, it's a radio button question, which means only one correct answer. Okay. Question for a minute, and then let's see the correct answer. What is the goal of DSSC, which is the Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship, for their level 1 program, which is a 3 months program? Okay, they have two programs, level 1 and level 2. Level 1 is around 3 months, level 2 is for around 1 year, 12 months. And you have to tell what their goal is in their 3 months program. So, the goal in their shorter version of program, is it about making the idea successful, or is it about arranging the initial funding requirement of the startups? Is it about guiding and mentoring teams to do their customer discovery so that the team is successful? And basically it is about all of these goals. All right, let's do the screen validation. So as I said, there are two programs. There is level 1 program and there is level 2 program. Level 1 is about a 3 months program, where level 2 is about a 12 months, 1 year program. So it is for a longer duration of time. Okay, but level 1 program is about making the team successful. The goal is not to make ideas successful, but to make the team successful. Okay. So their idea here is to make the team successful. Okay. So building teams is very, very critical, and good teams can actually help ideate and make good products. Okay. So building team is very, very critical here. And level 1 is essentially about guiding them in, implementing their customer discovery so that the teams are successful. So the correct answer here is option C. The goal of DSSE in their level 1 program is to make the team successful in implementing how to do customer discovery. Okay. You would hear this term very, very often: customer discovery and potential customers, consumers, because a lot of onus is given to evidence based entrepreneurship, and that evidence comes by identifying your actual consumers, actual customers. All right. Okay. So now comes the third question, which is, what was the initial target user for designing the solar oven as mentioned by Avinash? Is it the people in rural areas? Is it the residents in tier 2 cities? Is it the residents living in bungalows? Or is it the high-rise buildings who lives in urban areas? You have to tell us what was the initial target user. So Avinash is from IIT Bombay, and he worked on an academic project around solar oven, and then he took it forward as entrepreneurship, right? So he did tell us what was the initial target user. Later, the target user changed, right? But he started with certain users in his frame of mind. You need to tell us what was the initial target user group. Was it the people in the rural areas? Was it the residents in tier two cities? Was it the residents in living bungalows? Or those who are living in the high rise buildings? So take a minute to understand the question. These are the four options right in front of you, and you can text in by sending in messages about what could be the right answer. You can also unmute and speak, or you can type in your correct answer. The initial target user for designing the solar oven, as mentioned by Mr. Avinash, uh, who has basically the part of ideas program as well, right? Okay, so I think let's proceed further to the screen validation. तो फिर से I'll just repeat the options. People in the rural area, जो हमारे ग्रामीण क्षेत्र हैं, उसके आपको लोग हैं क्या, या वो रेजिडेंट्स इन दी टीयर टू सिटीज, शहरी जो इलाके हैं हमारे टीयर वन और टीयर टू, उसके क्या लोग हैं वो, या फिर जो बंगलों में रहते हैं, बड़े बड़े मकानों में रहते हैं, या फिर जो हाई राइज बिल्डिंग में रहते हैं, बहुमंजिला इमारत. Let's do the screen validation. So we are referring to the Bahumanzila Imarat, which is the multi-story buildings, which are, the examples are right in front of you. If you see this, you will get in Mumbai, and all the major urban cities, urban centers, Delhi, Noida, Pune, you will see this high-rise apartments. Okay, high-rise apartments, which are multi-storied. So initially, their target users were those people who are living in these multi-story apartments. All right. So they focused on metro city, urban area, and high-rise building. So their initial target was high-rise building residents who lives in urban areas. So this was the initial one. But then it later got changed. It later got the user group got a little changed, and we'll see that in a question. All right. Let's come to our fourth question. According to Professor Lapsari, where should an entrepreneurial journey ideally begin? Should it start with an idea? Should start with a team? Should it start with the elevator pitch? Or should it start with the first MVP? Okay, tell us. You've got four questions. Now again, it's a radio button question, which means that only one correct answer. Should it start with an idea? Should it start with a team? Should start with the first elevator pitch? Or should it start with an MVP? MVP is minimum viable product. Uh, how should an entrepreneurial journey must begin? Should it begin with an idea, with a team, with the first elevator pitch, or with the MVP? So, I think yet again we don't have any call messages. So let's go to the screen validation. So he says that it should start with building a good team instead of starting with an idea. So because each and every team member having a good sync is very, very critical, because good teams can actually build ideas very well. Okay. But if the idea is given by one person, then having the same passion with the other team members is very, very difficult. So that is why he says that it should start with building a good team instead of starting with the idea. So the correct answer for the fourth question is it should start with the team. Fourth P. Right? The entrepreneurial journey ideally begins with the formation of a team. Right? Let's go to our fifth question. In module 4, the solar oven was developed to cater to the needs of which kind of customers after the food festival in Ahmedabad? So remember he sharing that they went to a food festival wherein they had a kiosk and they had set up their stall, right? So the options are for below poverty line group, BPL group, for low income group, for middle income group, or for high income. Okay, I think that's a very direct question, and you can spot the question in that way. Which kind of users needs were catered in the context of Solar Oven project after the food festival in Ahmedabad? Okay, so once again, I'll read out the question. In module 4, the solar oven was developed to cater to the needs of which kind of customers after the food festival? Was it BPL, below poverty line? Was it the lower income group, the middle income group, and the higher income group? Let's do the screen validation. Okay. So if you see, the solar oven helps middle and low middle class in the summer urban and rural areas, and the aim is to reduce the cooking fuel consumption cost. So the two customer segment that were identified was the low income group, which belong to the Gramin Kshetra, right? The rural areas, which basically comprises of farmers and daily wage workers. Okay. And then the middle income group, which is who lives in a small town, which are basically the salaried professionals and small businessmen. All right. So these were the two user groups that were catered after the food festival. So the correct options are low income group, which includes your farmers and daily wage workers. What do you mean by daily wage workers? So these workers, they would normally, if you see, they would be standing in one of the junctions, a huge number of people, and then maybe somebody will come and they say, okay, we have to go there, we have to do this, we have to collect the, or we have to dump something, and then they will go in tractor or, uh, the whatever ways they would go and they will just settle down and they go. So for every day, they will have to be looking for a job. Okay. And then the other is the middle income group. So the lower income group and the middle income. The correct answers are B and C. Okay. Let's proceed to our next question. All right. According to Professor Lavsari, Dash have a very sharp need and they attempt to solve their own problem even before a proper solution is found. They are a great place to begin the journey. So, what are we referring to here? Are we referring to the latent customers, active customers, visionary customers, or all customers? Okay. Take some time to think about this question. This is something which Professor Love Sareen is asking. What kind of customers have a very sharp need and they attempt to solve the problems even before a proper solution is found? They are a great place to begin the journey. Anyone? Right. All right, let's do the screen validation. So if you remember, we were talking about the problem recognition scale while we were doing the content recap. There was a place where we were seeing the problem recognition scale. All right. And in that problem recognition scale, we found out that uh, there are these different types of problems. The latent problems are the one they have a problem but they don't know it. Passive problem is the one that the users know that the problem is there, but they are not motivated or aware of the opportunity to change. Sure. The third is active or urgent problem, where they recognize a problem or a passion and are searching for a solution, but they have not done any serious work to solve the problem. And vision, they have an idea to solve the problem and even have cobbled together a homegrown solution or a jugaad, but are prepared to pay for a better one. All right. And if you go further into it, He says that, find the customers who have the sharpest need. When you are starting up your journey and you need to find customers, it's always good to reach out to those customers who have the sharpest need. So visionary customers have a very, very sharp need, and then they will attempt to solve their own problem even before a proper solution is found. Okay. Visionary customers are a great place to begin their journey. All right. So the correct answer of this question is visionary customers. Okay. Sixth C. Visionary customers have a very sharp need, and then they attempt to solve the problem on their own even before a proper solution is found. They are a great place to begin the journey. All right. Let's go to our seventh question. According to Mr. Avinash, what could be the basic motivation for the target users to use the solar oven for their daily cooking? We are asking the basic motivation for the target users. Okay, in the case of solar oven case study, is it to have a healthier alternative to fast cooking? Is it to reduce the expenditure on LPG gas, to get tastier slow cooked food, and all of the above? Okay, again, I'll give you a minute to ponder upon this question and the four options provided to you, and eventually you can tell us what could be the right answer. We are talking about the basic motivation for the target users to use solar oven for their daily cooking. All right. Was it about having healthier alternative to fast cooking because slow cooked food have a better nutrition value and they also taste well? Or is it about the huge expenditure around the LPG, which has predominantly increased in the last few years? Or was it about eating the tastier and slow cooked food? Wait for one more minute and let's go to the screen validation. All right, let's do the screen validation. Okay. So, if you see, when he talked to a lot of customers, he found out that they had a concern and an insight around the rising LPG prices. Now, what you see here is a screenshot for the price rise in the Kochi region from 2020 to 2022. And if you see, it's started around 600 and it reached around 1,000. If you talk about my particular location in Uttarakhand, the kind of LPG cylinder I get is at a price of around 870 rupees per cylinder. Okay, so it varies depending upon your location. But if you see, even for one city, the last few years, the price has substantially gone up. And just imagine the plight of daily wage workers who are earning around 800 or 900 a month, or maybe 1,000 or 5,000. For them, it is such a hard earned money, going into these aspects, right? So that is where LPG, although the government is giving a subsidy into it, right? But still, to have a cylinder uh, at the middle class also with that kind of subsidy and no subsidy, it is a challenging task. That is where the solar oven can actually help a lot by reducing the expenditure around the gas cylinder. All right. Let's go to our eighth question. What kind of channels Avinash is willing to use to reach out to the customers in the rural areas? Okay, फिर से we are talking about rural area यानी कि ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों की बात फिर से आ गई है. uh, is willing to reach out. How does he reach out to the people living in the Grameen Ilake, the rural areas, as seen in the Solar One case study? The options are through direct distributions or sale, through Government of India schemes, through NGOs working for rural development, and through social influencers. Okay. Again, you can take a minute to respond to, and then we will get back to this particular question. You have to tell us what were the channels he was willing to use for the people living in the customers living in the रूरल एरियाज के ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में जो लोग हैं उनको अगर आपको सोलर ओवन पहुंचाना है तो आप क्या कर सकते हैं आपके चैनल्स क्या होंगे Take a minute to respond to this question. You can respond in the in call messages and tell us. One of the users has raised the hand. Yes, Misbah. I'll just check if there is some question around there. Stop presenting. Anyone who has any question? You have raised any hand or something? I think this screen is okay. Yes, yes. Anyone? All right, no issues. Let's get back to the presentation. All right. So let's do the screen validation and then we'll proceed with our next question. Okay. So these were the channels. Remember, the context here is the rural areas. Rural areas, Gramin Kshetra. Uh, there are certain challenges in such areas. So he suggested that we can use direct distribution or sales. We can use the Krishi Vigyan Kendras for the selling of these solar oven or solar cookers. He can utilize the Government of India schemes for RE. RE stands for renewable energy, and then institutes and NGOs working in rural development and renewable energy and sustainable technologies, right? So the correct answer for this question is A, which is through direct distribution or sale, through Government of India schemes for renewable energy, which they have mentioned as RE, and through NGOs working for rural development. Okay. Incorrect answer is through social influences, obviously, because these people don't have actually so much of time to visit Instagram and see the promotions. But you never know, the demography is changing, the patterns of mobile usage is also changing. You never know, maybe down the line, this can also be one of the channels. All right, let's come to our second last question. So Dr. Love Sarin suggested a pitch to Mr. Avinash for Solar Urban, which was about dash. So here is our first blank, followed by who started to see the signs of dash, and are always looking for the options to have dash. Okay. Love Serene suggested a pitch to Mr. Avinash for Solar Urban, which was about dash, who started have seen the signs of second blank, which is about the diseases, and are always looking for options to have the third blank. Okay. So your options are young professionals, lifestyle diseases and healthy males, startup founders, heart diseases and vegan meals, elderly, age-related diseases and healthy meals, and athletes who have chronic lifestyle diseases and sugarless meals. Okay. Yet again, you have got four options, of which only one is correct. So now is your time. You can just type in the correct response, and we can further discuss the through the screen validation what is the correct answer. So take a minute or two and let me know what could be the right answer. Again, here we are referring to the Solar One case where the users have started seeing the signs of certain kind of diseases and are looking for alternative options. So we can see how the question has been framed, wherein you have the fill in the blanks options, and that you have to respond to by a radio button question. It's basically a statement wherein a lot of multiple blanks have been made, and you've got to tell us what are the three blanks about. First one is about a user type, the second is about certain kind of disease, and the third is about certain kind of meals. Okay, let's do the screen validation. Okay, so the pitch which Dr. Love Sareen had drafted while discussing about Mr. Avinash's journey was the young professionals who have started to see the signs of lifestyle diseases, who are always looking for options to have healthy meals. Okay, so the young generation is now started being concerned about their health because we can see a lot of health disorders, especially with in relation to the lifestyle which we are having. And so the correct answer is here, young professionals. So, lifestyle disease to have healthy meals. All right. So the correct answer is option A. Young professionals who have started seeing the signs of lifestyle diseases and are looking for the options to have healthy meals. Okay. So now we come to our very last question. The question is according to Mr. Avinash. Now, Avinash is again from the Solar Oven Solar case study. What other channels were planned for collaboration and understanding the solar cooking context across India? Okay. The options are Jimmy McLigan Center in Indore, Mr. Alu Zubair Syed in Gujarat, International Solar Alliance, and Orwell Solar Kitchen. We are referring to the other channels that were planned for collaboration and understanding the solar cooking context across India. So this is from Avinash. If you have gone through the content, you would realize that they are referring to this particular thing. And these are the four options. It's a multi-select question, so there could be multiple correct answers. Okay. Jimmy McGilligan Center in Indore and Mr. Al Zubair Syed in Gujarat. Now it's a center, it's an individual, it's an organization, alliance organization, and it's again a place. And Auroville is a place in Puducherry, with some parts being in Tamil Nadu. All right. Take your time, take a minute or so, understand the question. We are talking about the other channels. The initial question was about the rural context and the channels around the rural context, which included Krishi Vigyan Kendras, NGOs, you know, and direct distribution and sales. Here we are referring to what the other channels, other channels. The idea was to understand the solar cooking context around India. We'll be doing the screen validation soon, but in the meantime, if there is anyone who would like to reply in what would be the correct answer for this question, this is the very last question, and after that, we'll be soon concluding the presentation as well. All right. Let's do the screen validation. These were the other channels which were explored. The first one, as you have seen, the Jimmy McGilligan Center in Indore, and this is an individual, the Gujarat man, who helps the tribal women make solar cookers at a cost of just 100 rupees, right? And then you have the Oroville Solar Kitchen. So these are the other channels which were being explored, uh, by Mr. Avinash. So the correct answers are option A, which is the Jimmy Center in Indore, the individual Al Zubair Sayed, and Oroville Solar Kitchen. Okay. So with that, we conclude our set of 10 questions. Now what we'll quickly do is we'll keep this thing here and I'll just rush and open up the portal uh, so that I'll just show you the brief deadlines which are there. Okay. So first and most important thing is that please click here to register. There is still an extension of 2 days from now. If you're not yet registered, please proceed with the registration for the examination. It's very, very important. As you can see, we are here at week 4 and the week 4 deadline is currently at 20th of August, which is 4 days from now, right? And as you can see, the week 5 contents are also available now. So if you have completed week 4 content and the assignment, you can go through it. And the week 5 would be around 27th of August, the deadline. Yes, it is there. Correct. And this, along with that, we have the tabs on progress. So the progress will help you understand and track your progress. So your assessment scores would be available here. I hope you'll be able to see this is the unit wise progress, the content consumption, and then the grading policy. So usually I discuss the grading and certification policy in each of our presentations. But it also includes that fact that you can also go through them and understand. Okay, I don't think the mentor has anything to say. Okay, yes, the Q&A. So Google discussion forum. You can go here and then you can post your question. And as you can see, it is being responded to by one of the members, Mr. Which is already responding to a lot of questions here, right? So it is being taken care here as well, right? So I think with that, we can conclude the session as of now. Um, Let me get back here. I'll stop presenting my screen. All right. So once again, I would like to thank all those who are here, still here, who have joined in. I know joining in a weekend is little tricky, especially when there is a festival around. Uh, but I think we all are trying to do our parts, our jobs. I understand that you must be into some kind of commitment towards either your company or your school or your academics. So having said that, I think it's important to join these sessions. Uh, to be able to participate in the questioning would always be better. But if that happens, it will be really, really well and good. But now is the time if you want to share anything, if you want to discuss anything, if you have any concerns, any doubts, we are here right now. We have a few minutes. We can discuss it. Anyone in the meeting link who would want to talk about it?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes. Hello. Hello.
Sir, I just wanted to share my experience. I am already working in a research organization, and prior to this, in between, I had a startup with my partner. So we were two people working um,
Yes.
together. So we were into product design services as well as some upcycling products. But then it only went for like 1.5 or 2 years because of cash flow. and of course payment issues. But we realized, what was the mistake we did.
So, would you like to highlight those shortcomings so that the other learners can also learn from your journey of entrepreneurship?
Um, yeah, one of the major um, shortcomings I would say was, we did everything on our own. So we were doing the finance part, we were doing the admin part, we were doing the business management thing. So we were not getting enough time to actually ideate and come up with creative solutions, because our mind was completely into whether the payment will come or not, and we have to follow up with the client. And so that was the biggest mistake we realized, but it was little late for us, so we kind of discontinued. uh, but I mean, after that I am back into industry, in a as a employee. So now again I am getting the, after a few years, like it's been 5 or 6 years, and now I am again starting to get this feeling ki, I should uh, reattempt for a startup. So, but I'm still very confused whether it's a good idea, or uh, would you like to give me some suggestions if I, I'm planning to do or starting to.
Okay, so let me first thank you for sharing in your experience and your concern. I think speaking up in itself requires a lot of courage, especially about failures, especially about things which do not work out. So thanks for sharing that. And as you are saying that you are again thinking around these lines of doing a startup again, I would suggest that if we go through today's lecture content of week 4, we see that Dr. Love Sareen says that it is always good to start with a team rather than starting with the idea, right? So I would like to reiterate what he's saying. So he says that the most important thing about a startup is that having a very rich and a diverse team, right? So in the previous week's content, they have emphasized on the aspect of having a diverse team, at least having 3 to 4 people. Okay, at least 4 people.
Okay.
Okay, and with the backgrounds being as diverse as possible.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that really helps a lot. And then start with the team, because once you have a good team, then all the members in the team can ideate together. You all can then come up with a common passionate area where you want to work upon. Because if it is the other way around, wherein one person is having the idea and then you are looking for other team members, then it becomes one person's idea and the other are support members. But if you have a team at first place and then you are brainstorming and then coming up with the common passionate area, sorry, ideas, or areas to work upon, then it becomes a team goal, right? And that is
Hmm.
what these people in the courses are trying to emphasize, that you build a team, you build a strong team, you ideate, you pivot, you change directions, but then you come on to one concrete area where you think that okay, all of you share common passions and common interest, and then you proceed further with your design process, like mentioned by the second week's content on methodology of innovation. I think it is second or third week wherein we discuss about the Chaku's 7 concerns, starting with the cause and ending with the context. You empathize, you reach out to your customers, and like in the week 2, they said that customers are not the ones who are your friends or who are your family members. You will have to go deep down to talk to strangers. Now that in itself requires a skill set. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, not everyone is comfortable in talking to strangers and deriving things without having any leading questions. That in itself requires a skill set. But those are the things which we have to really work around and try to address it, so that uh, we are unbiased towards our idea, and we are looking from a distance, and then we are trying to take it forward.
So, sir, I mean, what if I already have an idea? So in that case, if I reach out to people to build a team, uh, is it okay if I convince them with my idea, and if they find it okay, and then we, or you suggest we first build a team and then only we ideate on a fresh idea?
Okay, so here again, I would like to clarify that it is not something which I am recommending. Okay, so I am just a medium, and I'm trying to tell what the experts are, suggesting. So all those people who have come in, Dr. Love Sareem, Dr. Rupesh, they are all from the having more than 20-25 years of experience, and they are leading the incubation centers and the schools of entrepreneurship, and these are the people who are recommending to start with a team rather than with an idea. Now, now, if you say that you have an idea and which you are passionate about and you are looking for team members, that can also happen. But then, given the condition that the passion, and the enthusiasm needs to be shared. If you
Hmm.
get people like that who are really willing to contribute as much as you are involved into that idea, I think that is always be will always be a good and win-win situation. Although it is little hard to do it, but then even if your idea is at a certain place and you get a passionate member, both of you, then carry forward, ponder upon that ideas. Maybe you both can, then develop something, which can actually be an interest for both of you, and then you can take it forward.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, all right. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, and discussions like these, help us understand more, because see, content delivery and all, it is already happening, but real life experiences, they tell a very different story. They help us learn a lot. They help us, come up from our failures, come up from the shortcomings, and then get into a more successful journey, right? So I was in Bangalore once, and I came across an organization wherein uh, one of the founders of a research think tank was more than 70 years plus, and then he founded that research think tank. So again, age is not a number. Age is just a number, I would say. Um, but it does not depend on at which age mark you are in, or what is your background, but it also depends on how much passion, enthusiasm, rigor we have towards building an idea, right? So thank you so much for those inputs, for brief discussion, and I hope the learners who are here, or who would review this lecture content once it's uploaded on YouTube, would might find value in it. So with that, we can conclude our session today. Once again, thanks to all for joining in this 2 hour journey. We do have 8 more sessions to go, and I believe that there would be more active learners like you, and who would want to share their thoughts, their views, who would want to participate, and would want to uh, engage more in these sessions. So with that, we conclude our session. Thanks a lot. See you. So we have concluded the session. What we'll do is we'll quickly do the saving part. Save it as a PDF so that we can upload it and include our work. Thanks all for joining in. Bye.